Today, we're talking about Jade City and Jade War of the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. So straight out of the gate, let me tell you that these two were some of my favorite books that I read this year. To be fair, I'm not sure we can really call it fantasy or even modern fantasy, because the only fantasy part really is the Jade that grants the wielder enhanced abilities. And Jade really is an accessory to the real story, which actually is, well, a family drama. Um, I know it sounds cheeky, but yeah, no, it's not. Jade City, it's and Jade War. Well, the Greenbone Saga. I haven't read the last part just yet, which is Jade Legacy. But it's honestly, it's a gripping drama that really pulls you into well, a world of ambition, love, sacrifice. And honestly, yeah, it kind of leaves you emotionally damaged. I'm actually afraid to start reading the last one because the two first ones already put me through some emotional stuff. And I don't think it's any wonder that readers often describe it as devastating or breathtaking or even unforgettable. So yeah, let's dive right in. So the story is set in the city of Janloon, uh, and the two first books, they and imagine the third one as well, follow the Call family, which are leaders of one of the city's ruling clans, if you will. And in this world, everyone is trying to get their hands on Jade, and which is a precious stone or something like that. And Jade's, well, it's not just a precious stone; it's really the source of power, a source of power, granting enhanced abilities to the ones who can wield it, which are a select few. Not everyone can use Jade, and it's even um, dangerous or poisonous for those who can't. To be fair, and so very few are actually trained to wield it. And so for generations, these clans have maintained some kind of an uneasy peace, dividing territories and influence. But that balance is now kind of crumbling. So tensions are rising with the rival gangs, especially, well, one gang actually, which is the Mountain Clan, led by Ait Madashi. And both clans are now pulling into this brutal struggle for power for Genloon to protect their legacy, their honor, and territory, and basically their lives. The world of the Greenbone Saga, honestly, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but honestly, it's the Godfather in a Yakuza setting, and it's awesome. The world of Genloon, it's vivid and it's layered with deep cultural traditions and all that mystical aura of Jade that encompasses the entire world. And you can constantly feel the tension of, well, you can constantly feel the tension of politics, the history behind everything of the clans, the schemes for power and authority. And Fonda Lee actually does an incredible job creating a world where Jade is both a blessing and a curse, because it's shaping the entire world. It's shaping the economy to power dynamics between clans or actually even different countries in the world, because it's the only part of the world where you can find Jade, putting them in this favored position, but also quite dangerous position. And it's really refreshing to see yet another fantasy story with a modern twist, that doesn't really rely on medieval tropes. The other one that didn't rely on medieval tropes that I'm thinking of now is The Will of the Many by James Islington, and you can check my review for this one on this channel as well, because it's the very first one of this channel. The characters of the Greenbone Saga, well, let's say that the Call family is unforgettable. Lan is the older brother. He's the honorable leader. Hilo is kind of the cliche younger brother. He's fiery, he's impulsive, and quite aggressive. And Shay, Well, let's describe her as a smart but conflicted young sister, not sure if she belongs within the family anymore, yes or no. But they all feel like real people. They're all flawed. Um, and they're all, but at the same time, loyal to the clan, and they struggle with those feelings. And none of them feel like characters from a book, so to speak. They feel like real people. Nothing is black or white. Everything is a nuance of gray in every step of their journey, and you feel pulled in, and you feel the weight of their decisions. And I always kind of use this as a barometer, to see how well characters are written in a book. If I can decide who's my favorite one, then they're all amazingly well brought and well written. And it's definitely the case for this story. While reading this, the writing style of Fondly, because this was the first time I was reading this author, I think it's quite sharp and cinematic. The fight scenes, they're really fast paced and aggressive and intense, but at the same time, they're also not confusing, so you can really follow what's happening. Every single bit of dialogue feels natural, and well, the one thing I could say is maybe sometimes there are some misplaced stoicism within the characters, but I do think that's real for a lot of fictional characters out there. But honestly, everything is there to keep you hooked, and it's the kind of book that you struggle to put down because there's always something brewing, whether even in quiet moments or in a big giant fight scene, there's always something lurking or happening that makes you continue to read. There's a few things that you might say are downsides to this book, but I would struggle to find some. Maybe the emotional damage that is going to be left with me after reading the third one. But seriously, if I had to nitpick a little bit, then maybe you can say that the pacing is quite slow. But to me, it didn't really matter so much because you're taking in this journey with the family, you feel part of the family. And if the pace is slow, well, great. More time for us with the Cole family. Although, if you're a big fantasy lover, you may be a bit disappointed because there's actually very little fantasy in this book. Yes, it's set in a fictional world, and yes, Jade does grant some weird or supernatural abilities, but it's only a tiny layer of the story. It's more of an excuse to get the gang rivalries. Whoop. It's more of an excuse to get the gang rivalries going. So if you're looking for some real fantasy, this may not be it for you. So final thoughts. If you love morally complex characters, rich family dynamics, and a world centered on tradition and in an Asian kind of yakuza mafia style, then Jade City and Jade War are definitely must reads for you, and I can only imagine Jade Legacy as well. Um, it's it's a story that's deeply layered with a lot of intrigue in the end. There's a lot of heartbreak, and it it puts stress on the bonds of loyalty, basically of a family, and that setting felt to me unique and compelling. So definitely check it out because it's an amazing story. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Jade City and Jade War. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe. It would really, really help me a lot. And see you guys around. Have a lovely day.